There used to be a point in my life when I was drinking every day that I believed that drinking was the only way, that there wasn't a life outside of drinking, and everything that I did, everything that I believed, and everything that my life revolved around was getting drunk. Yeah, I'd go to work. Yeah, I'd show up. Yeah, I'd have a family. Yeah, sort of. Yeah, I'd be a father. Yeah, I'd be a provider. Yeah, I would be all those things that, you and I as men have to be. But the reality of it was that all the things that a man should be, I wasn't. I was failing myself, failing my family, and I was failing society as a whole because of my inability to control my desire to drink. And that thing was running my life, that bottle, all the time. Every decision that I made revolved around the bottle. Whether I went out, revolved around whether there'd be alcohol, whether there'd be enough, whether or not that I could get enough, whether or not I could get drunk enough, whether or not I could go enough time in the day without drinking. Every decision. And you see people all the time drinking, for freedom. But that's not freedom. Because if you're basing every decision that you make in your life around a choice that you don't believe that you have, that's not freedom. Freedom is the ability to go anywhere, do anything, and not have to worry about whether there's going to be alcohol in the event, whether or not you're going to be able to get drunk enough, whether or not you're going to be able to enjoy yourself because there's no alcohol. All these decisions, these micro decisions on a daily basis, we base our lives on. And I used to believe that was the only way. I used to say to myself that I didn't want to drink anymore, but I didn't want to stop. How insane is that, to think that you don't want to do something, but at the same time, you don't want to stop doing it? And that's the insanity that we find ourselves trapped into. And the truth is, we tell ourselves that, it's not that bad. We haven't really fucked up that bad. But every day that we wake up and we go to work, or we run our businesses, or we do the things that men should be doing, we know that it is that bad. We know that we have failed. But we have to tell ourselves, we have to lie to ourselves to keep that illusion going that, it's not that bad. But it isn't that good either. And as a man, we want to be free. And if you're drinking every day with the belief, like I did, that I couldn't stop, but I couldn't keep going, that's not freedom. Freedom begins the minute that you decide that you don't want to drink anymore. And then you start to take some action. And it's not about making alcohol bad. It's not about me getting to a point in my life where my whole life fell apart to realize that alcohol was that bad. But you don't have to burn your life to the ground to realize that you're burning your life to the ground. You don't have to get to the bonfire of your life and recognize that there's not much left, like I had to. There was people in my life that I hurt on a daily basis, decisions that I made that I regret, and things that I said that I can't take back. But that's not a reason to not try to stop. I speak to people all the time that say, oh, well, it's too bad. It's all fucked. I give up. I was just speaking to a lady today and she said, oh, it's all too much. It's gone too far and there's no point trying. I believe that no matter how far you've fallen, no matter how fucked things are, they can always improve. No matter how badly you've burnt your health, they can always improve. No matter how bad you've burnt your relationships, they can always improve. No matter how bad you've burnt your businesses, you've burnt your money, you've burnt your financial position, you can always improve. But the first thing you have to improve is your relationship with alcohol. And that is to no longer have it in your life. And if you can't even grasp that, if you can't even get that really yet, don't overthink it. If you recognize that something needs to change, then something needs to change. If you can see that loop, that endless loop that you go into, I don't want to stop, I don't want to keep going, tomorrow I'm going to stop. This isn't the talk of somebody that has a relationship with alcohol that's healthy. That's the talk of someone that needs help, that needs to stop, and that needs to do something different. And I know that because that's the life that I lived. I used to get up, hungover, sick, every day, go to work, drag myself to work, just to get to the end of the day and hope that I could get pissed again. And then I get pissed again, pass out, and repeat the cycle day after day after day after day after day, until the days just blurred into one. My life was a shadow of what it is now, and there's still so much more that we can do. There's still so much more I can do. There's still so much more for me to be. But I couldn't be anything until I was sober. And you can't be anything until you're sober. You can't start to create a life that you're proud of while you're burning everything to the ground. You might be able to say that you're a provider. You might be able to say that, yeah, you make money. Yeah, you show up to work. Yeah, you do all these things. But you don't do them at a level that you could be. And if you're a man and you want to provide for your family, if you want to be a role model, if you want to leave a legacy, you have to start making better choices. And I'm not here to say that alcohol is bad or good. It's just a substance. It's a drink. It's poison, yes. Is it a good idea to drink it? No. But that's not the key. The key is that you're using alcohol to avoid your problems. Every time that you avoid a problem in your life and don't deal with it directly, the problem doesn't go away. The problem is masked, and then after the masking, you're creating new problems with your alcohol abuse or your alcohol use disorder, if you want to be, technical, because every time that you're masking the problem and you're creating new ones you're creating relationship problems, you're creating health problems, you're creating financial problems, you're creating, family problems, you're creating problems by getting pissed, not creating solutions. So not only are you avoiding the original problem, you've got another problem. So then you've got two problems. And then on top of that, you've got the shame, the guilt and remorse that, then that monkey on your back always saying that you should, you will, you won't, And then on top of that daily wrestle between, will I drink? Will I get enough? Is it worth it? Should I start at 3 o'clock? Should I start at 4 o'clock? All these mad equations and sums and mathematician things that we have to work out to ensure that we get our fill every day. And then we've got to make sure that we hide enough. We've got to make sure that you've got all your spaces, and this isn't the life that you want to live. You want to live, because it's not free. What's the point of having a business? What's the point of being employed? What's the point of having a family if you're not free? Free to be who you want to be, when you want to be, and do what you want to do. That's the point of being successful, is to be free. And if you're using alcohol, to get that stress and to deal with that, the success in your life, you're not free. It's doing the opposite of what you want. And I used to believe that I couldn't stop drinking, and all those years ago, I'd say to myself, one day, I'd dream that one day I didn't wake up and the monkey was on my back. Yeah, and I had to go through that process. I had to go through a journey of believing, just a little belief that sobriety was possible. And I want to tell you that sobriety is possible. I don't drink anymore. And I used to drink every day, copious amounts, ridiculous amounts, to the point of getting passed out every day and getting up and going to work, because I was a functional drinker. I was functional. You know, as functional as someone that, you know, can barely function can be. But, you know, I got into my 40s, I had a stroke, you know, my health started to decline, put on heaps of weight. I was unhappy, you know, but I didn't know another way. But it got to a point for me that I had to decide. Did I want to keep drinking, or did I want to start to live? And, you know, it was line ball for a while. I'm going to bullshit you. But the truth is, I chose to live. And I worked out ways to get through the initial phase of sobriety. And then we've gotten through day after day, week after week, year after year. And here we are. And now I help people stop drinking with the knowledge that I've gotten. I'm not special. You know, I don't have superpowers. I'm just like you. But I've been there. I know what it's like to wake up every day and not know how the fuck are you going to stop the one thing that you would give the world to stop. Knowing that you can't keep going like this, but unsure of how to change. There is a way. It's called the sober switch. And that sober switch has helped me. And it's helped many people that have, you know, seen it. But the process, it's just a matter of understanding that you can change. You will change. And you must change. But change is inevitable. There's two types of change. Change that you choose, or change that life chooses for you. And if you keep drinking, eventually life will make a choice. You may lose your relationships, you may lose your family, you may lose your friends, you may lose your life, you may lose your health. But at the end of the day, change is inevitable, and it doesn't always have to be negative. I believe that you're worth fighting for. So I created the Brotherhood, where we can get together, where you can learn the skills, and we can start to rebuild your life together. And if that's something that you're interested in, I want to welcome you to the Brotherhood, and I want to give you an invitation to join me to learn more. Click the link down below, or go to www.skoolschool.com/kickthepiss. I'm Jason, and I'm here to help you kick the piss for good.